I live by, be a champion. I want to be part of a championship team. I want to be the champion for things. I don't just want to sit back and watch life move on when you could be the solution. I'm not a problem. I'm a solution.
Welcome to the LandLife podcast with your host, PJ Riley.
Hey guys, welcome to the LandLife podcast. My name is PJ Riley. Guys, like I always say, if you're getting value from this podcast, leave us a comment, like, subscribe. If you don't like it, do it anyway, just because I got a really cool hat on today. Guys, one more thing too. If you are interested in the land business, I mentioned this a while back. We do have a LandLife course now. LandLifeCourse.com, crazy enough, is the name of the website. Check it out. I'm not going to get too deep into that on the podcast because today, guys, we got a rock star. This guy we talked prior to this podcast or prior to me hitting record, and he's got all kinds of cool, interesting, exciting things to say. So Ron Nussbaum, how are you? What part of the country are you in? Kind of give us a little Cliff's Notes version of kind of what you're up to these days.
So I'm Ron Nussbaum. I'm the founder of NuttNest and acting CEO. I just moved my family across country from Michigan to North Carolina, and we're loving life. We're out looking for freedom and sunshine, and we ended up finding that right down here in North Carolina on the ocean.
That's awesome, dude. So what made you let's, before we even get into the business side, before we even get into what your business NuttNest is, why did you move your family to North Carolina? What prompted that? Like, what made you want to do that?
So it was something we had kicked around for a while, and then kind of career-wise, it ended up starting to work out. And we were like, why wait until we're 50, 60 years old to go live this dream and go do what everybody lives their entire life to go do? Why don't we just start doing it now? And, absolutely. Intermingle our profession and our careers with what makes us happy. I feel like I made a lot of decisions working in the past that were based off of purely a financial decision on where I was at, what I was doing, and how that was working. And me and my wife looked at each other and we just made the decision, hey, let's do what makes us happy. And what exactly does that look like? Being where it's warm all the time and by the ocean were two very critical aspects of that. So we narrowed it down to Florida and North Carolina. I have a 4-year-old son. Florida, we went down there a couple of times. It just didn't have that family vibe that we got here in North Carolina. And we pulled the trigger, sold everything, got down to one pod. Still blows my mind. One pod, and we got in a vehicle and took a couple of weeks to drive down here. And we're staying at an Airbnb waiting to close on our house.
Dude, that is awesome. So you kind of built like a lifestyle by design. Like you designed that the way your life's going to be. And we're just going to do it. And now, did you have, you and the wife, your wife, you guys had these conversations previously, like you prepared for this? This was something you guys went back and forth about, and, you like really structured this to fit both your lives. Is that correct?
Yeah. This is something that, we had talked about for years, but the circumstances were never right. It was always like the 5-year plan. Hey, in 5 years, this is where we would like to be at. I ended up moving on from where I was at, and it kind of left an opening. I was making the transition into doing NuttNest full-time, which I can do from anywhere in the country. And we were like, now's the time. If we don't do this right now, we're going to wait until we're in our 50s and 60s, and it's not worth it at that point in time. We want to raise our son somewhere where he has the best opportunities to go out and have the best life possible. And, no hate on Michigan, but we did not feel that was the place for that to happen.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you had an issue you wanted to fix, and you guys just jumped on it. You didn't wait. There's no time to wait. Let's just go do it. You only live once. So, might as well go for it now.
Yeah, there's people doing it all the time. You might as well be one of the ones that are doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting somewhere, miserable.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what you're doing if you don't like the environment that you're in, not going to be happy.
Yeah.
So we figured that's the core principles of this is we need to be somewhere where we know we're going to be happy and be able to live the lifestyle we want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about NuttNest. Let's shift gears a little bit. So kind of start us as far as your entrepreneurial or your professional life. Start us like where did you start and how did we get to the point we're at right now?
So I was raised in an entrepreneur family.
Okay.
From the time I was a kid, my parents built the Amway business, and
Nice.
I grew up on self-development, going out reading books, listening to books on tape, all of that, all my life. And just like any kid, that stuff goes in, but you end up, I got better ideas. I got better things I can go do.
Yeah.
So, you start to live that life. That wasn't working out exactly how it should be. I ended up going into the Marine Corps because I felt that was a lifelong thing. Like I felt if I didn't do that, when I went in when I was 23, which is a little bit later than most people do, but I felt like I couldn't live with myself if I didn't make the decision to go see if I could be a Marine. I mean, in the back of my mind, I knew I could be, but I didn't have anything that told me I could be. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to say, hey, I went and did this. So I ended up joining the Marine Corps. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. I did one deployment over to Iraq. And from there, I met my wife. That's how I ended up in Michigan. I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. When I got out of the Marine Corps, we moved to Michigan and set up shop there. I spent 11 years working in the residential construction business, doing everything from working out in the field to field supervision, to being a foreman, to being a project manager, sales, production manager, operations manager, and helped scale a construction company over 11 years. So it wasn't my company. I worked hand in hand with the ownership on that, but it wasn't, it didn't fill that void of wanting to own something, want to be part of it. It's one thing to build something for somebody else. It's another thing to build something for you. During that, we bought a cleaning company that my wife ran the day-to-day on. We acquired that, ended up not being a very good fit just for our lifestyle and everything. And ended up flipping that and selling it for 4x what we paid for it in about a 12-month turnaround. So that was just going in there, doing marketing, putting systems in place, the stuff that excited me. So that helped light that fire. And I was looking for some partners, and I ended up finding Jared Yellen and Grant Cardone down in Florida. I was able to partner with them on NuttNest. And that's where we're at here today. We've now spent about the last 8 months going through all the design, product development, everything. We're getting ready to go live, and we're super excited.
That's awesome. So explain NuttNest. What is NuttNest? What do you do? What is the business?
So what NuttNest comes from is, and my career in the construction industry, from a high level of leadership and management, what I heard all too often was, we love your crews. We love the work you do. We love your reputation, but your communication sucks. And that is across the board in the construction industry and home service providers. There's a big gap between what the communication is between the homeowner and the contractor. And one of the biggest problems is that the guy that comes out to your house to initially look at everything, or is the one that you sign up with, 90% of the stuff that happens after that has nothing to do with him, and that's the only phone number you have.
Yes. So
you're stuck calling somebody that all you're ever going to get is, hey, I'm not the guy. Let me figure out who that guy is and get back with you. Well, John has moved on to the next project. And you end up being a sticky note that gets left in the break room by the coffee machine because he got started talking to somebody else. And everything falls through the cracks. So what NuttNest is designed to do is we're going to help 5 million contractors and home service providers reimagine what that customer interaction can look like with every customer. by becoming air traffic control for the contractors. So our goal is on every project, every time a customer picks up the phone to call that contractor or home service provider, they call the right person that's going to give them an answer to that problem right then. Not, I would have to get back to you because I'm the wrong person. So we're going to be able to direct that traffic directly to the right people every time and create an environment where that communication becomes fully transparent and there's becomes no concerns at that point in time, because now that homeowner is in charge of that, because it's no longer, well, I don't want to call John again because, you know, he just has a hard time getting back with me and I know he's not the guy. Now the homeowner knows, hey, if I have a scheduling problem, I'm calling the right person and I'm going to get an answer. And if they don't pick up the phone and make that phone call, that's on them at that point in time and not the contractor. Okay. And that's going to create lifelong customers that want to continue to do business with the same person over and over, and just completely change that.
Yeah. So is this like a CRM system for the contractor?
So on for the homeowner, it's a mobile app that the homeowner is going to download. So you download the NuttNest app. That's where you then control your entire project and all the contractors that you work with. From a contractor perspective, they enter in all their information into the CRM, and it allows them to track the projects and who exactly is doing all the communication. So assigning that to the right person. So when somebody has a question, it goes to the right person. And one of the great things that the team has been able to develop, it just absolutely blows my mind, is being the thought leader on this project, is we have been able to create a feed for your project at your house. So if you have a construction project going on, or you're getting an AC unit, whatever you have going on at your house, you go into the NuttNest app and you're now going to look at a feed, just like if you were on Facebook or Instagram, that's going to show you all those updates on exactly what's happening, who's at my house, what's happening, was there new pictures uploaded. It's going to show up right there real time, any conversations that you're having. If the foreman on site has a question, any of that kind of stuff, we're going to be able to control all that communication right inside the NuttNest app. So that homeowner is in real time, whether they are there in the backyard or in the house with the foreman while the project's going on, or they're on the other side of the country managing a project on their vacation home or their main home while they're gone. They're going to know real time exactly what's happening.
That's amazing. So yeah, you're like the liaison between, or NuttNest is the liaison between the contractor and the customer. And the customer can see what's going on at all times. So who are we selling this to then? Do you sell it to the contractors and they tell the customer, or are you selling it to these customers and they can find contractors through the NuttNest app?
So contractors pay to be on our service and allow their customers to use it. Homeowners can download the app, be signed up on it, do all of that. That's completely free of charge. But the contractors that use it, they pay monthly to be on the platform.
That's awesome. Whereabouts in the country is NuttNest going to be active? Is there a certain region of the country?
We are going live throughout the entire United States.
Awesome. Okay, so anywhere from Alaska to the tip of Florida, you can get on NuttNest and you can find a contractor. You can communicate with your contractor. You can actually get in touch with somebody if you need your floor done, and you know exactly what they're doing, where they're at.
And one of another great things is we are making the referral business a lot easier, because instead of people going through their phones to find that contractor or getting on Google to have to look it up, be like, hey, I had this flooring guy I really, really liked. I don't remember his information. Let me Google it real quick. Oh, this guy sounds like the right guy. Hey, you'll be able to jump right on the NuttNest app. Go to that flooring guy, put your friend's information in there, and that your buddy's going to immediately get a text message saying, hey, here's the information of this contractor. And when you reach out, that contractor is going to know, hey, I did this project over here. This is exactly what I did. He'll be able to pull up your project before he even reaches out to talk to your buddy about doing his project. So you know what the expectations are, and it creates that refer, not just a refer, but like I said, lifelong customers to be able to continue to do work. What I have found is typically there's a lot of work to be done on a house, and homeowners don't do everything because it's a lot. No one's going to take on, most people aren't taking on $100,000-$200,000 worth of work at one time, but they're going to chunk it down. And this creates a way so that contractor is now in the realm, and say a year or 2 years down the road, I'm the customer, I reach back out to that contractor, you're instantly going to know exactly what project, who I am, what you did for me, instead of having to try to scramble and be like, oh yeah, hey, I remember that project. When, you don't have any clue at the end of the day. It puts you in a position to be able to, hey, how's that flooring going that I put down for you? Oh, hey, you want to do the upstairs? I'd love to come out and give you a quote on that.
Yeah. So if you're a contractor, it's like a no-brainer. You're going to need this, especially going down the line as more and more contractors, more and more customers are in here. It's going to get to a point where you have to be in the NuttNest ecosystem, or no one's going to ever know who you are. One question: why the name? Why the name NuttNest? Where did that come from?
So the name comes from, Nussbaum means nut tree, and we were going back and forth with names, and I had a bunch of stuff that I thought was really, really cool. And me and my wife were talking about this, and she's like, I think it should have our name in there somewhere, maybe like we do nut tree. And I was thinking around the nest, because it's going to be your home. This is your nest, like where everything's kept for what's happening in your house. And NuttNest got shot out. I sent it over to all marketing and trademark team and everything. And it was by far the winner out of all this cool stuff that I thought I had, all these catchy names and everything. NuttNest won out, but it's amazing. It does encompass exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are contractors doing wrong? What do contractors typically do wrong these days, pre-NuttNest?
So I don't necessarily think that they're intentionally doing anything wrong. Contractors are busy. Home service providers are busy. It's a busy industry that typically the wrong person is who's getting the phone calls.
Yeah.
Because if you have an issue and you call the salesperson that was out, he's not the guy. You pick up the phone and call the office, that receptionist or that scheduler, chances are is probably not the person either to answer the specific question that is being asked.
Yeah.
So just the miscommunication, because it's just not being directed properly. That's one of the biggest problems, and nothing is designed to fix the problem pre-NuttNest. One of the problems is most of our competitors is an add-on that's lackluster at best. It's because it is a problem, but companies that are addressing the bottom line for construction companies are trying to address it by doing something that it just doesn't cut it. It's designed to just be an add-on to try to suffice, because they have people coming to them saying, man, I need to be able to communicate better with my customers. So they're like, hey, we'll throw this Band-Aid on here, we'll throw this in with the package, and everything's all good. But it wasn't thought out specifically to fix the communication problem. And that's what our goal is. We're not a CRM. We're not an Angie's List. We're none of that. We're NuttNest, and we're here to solve the communication problem. And that is what our mission is. Yeah,
you guys are like the Facebook of construction.
I hope so.
Where everybody can connect. So you just make it's like a simplicity thing. You're making it easier for the customer. I know as a customer, I'm not a contractor right now. So I know as a customer, dude, when I'm like, oh, who's our air conditioning guy? Who's our flooring guy? And so I go to the refrigerator and look at all those little business cards they gave us, right? I'm like, nope. I don't think we have that guy that we need. So then you're right. I Google it and I'm like, I think the guy's name was Mike, but honestly, I don't know. So it takes all this extra effort to get to the guy, and you may even not even get to the right guy. So what you're doing is just, you're simplifying literally everything for both
Absolutely.
sides, for the customer and the contractor.
Yeah, 100%. And then like what you had said earlier about how it's going to transpire is right now, this is an add-on. This is a selling point for the contractors and home service providers we work with. This is an edge they can use in the house to close more deals. Eventually, it's going to turn into, hey, the last guy that was out here, he used the NuttNest platform for us to be able to communicate. I really like that. I want to do business with somebody that uses that as well. And that is then going to turn the tides to where, like you said, it becomes a necessity. Like if you're not using our platform to communicate with your homeowners, you're going to start losing business because of it. So we're going to switch that dynamic to, hey, you're going to close more deals because you're with us. And it's going to change into you have to be with us if you want to do business.
Yeah, and just think of all the people that's going to help. I mean, I have so many buddies that are realtors or real estate investors, and they're always, you go to one guy, hey, do you have a floor guy? Do you got your floor guy? That person will also have the NuttNest app, and they'll just pop it up and say, yeah, here's my floor guy, here's his information. I can contact him. I think, when this kicks off, and if Grant Cardone's part of it, it's no joke. This is like, he does not just jump on any program or any low tier business idea. So this is obviously something that is legit, and I can't understand how any contractor would not want to do it based on how you explained it. I mean, it's a no brainer. It's an absolute no brainer. Me as a customer, I'd want it every single time. 100% of the time, I would have to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that's what is going to be so amazing about this, is that we're going to change an entire industry. I think that's what catches a lot of people's ears. That's what's been able to open some of the doors, make the partnerships that we made, is because this is a known problem that needs to be solved for an entire industry. We're not just talking going out and fixing a little whatever deal. We're going to completely change how an entire industry speaks with their customers. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing at NuttNest.
Yeah, NuttNest, the Facebook of the construction world. That's definitely, it looks like it's on its way. I want to shift gears a little bit. Right. So Ron, you've already we've only met you. We've only been on here for 20 minutes, something like that. And you've already said you found a problem. You didn't want to live in Michigan. You want to live by the beach.
Yeah.
And you figured out a solution. We have a problem. Let's figure out a solution, right? You were working in the construction field. There was an issue. There was a problem. You found a solution. This is what entrepreneurs do. This is what all the great entrepreneurs do. We find a problem. Hey, how do I fix this? And you fix it. What do you, Ron, attribute that to? Like, what is Ron made of that you can attribute all that to? Because it's not normal. Not everybody does that.
I think it's just a not necessarily a take no prisoners mentality. It's why not?
Yeah.
Why can't we go fix this? It obviously can be better. I live by, be a champion. I want to be part of a championship team. I want to be the champion for things. I don't just want to sit back and watch life move on when you could be the solution. I'm not a problem. I'm a solution. So when problems present themselves, you come up with a solution. The thing is that solutions typically create a lot of other problems that go along with them. So you got to be ready to continue making solutions. I mean, it's a lifestyle, and it's something that if more people did, I think people would have more of a purpose and feel more fulfilled in life. Because it's not easy. But I mean, sitting back and doing nothing's not easy. It's still hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if you sit back and do absolutely nothing about a problem that you know is in front of you, that you have the solution for in your mind, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Because now you're sitting there, you know the solution, and you're still dealing with the misery that's involved around it. So I think you just have to take action. I'm a take action person.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people too have a problem with preparation. They all, I mean, not they all, but a lot of people want to go out there and do something big. They watch a video on YouTube, they listen to a podcast, they get inspired and excited about doing things. But a lot of it has to do with preparation. They simply don't show up prepared. They wake up that day, they have this idea in their head. I'm going to go, make a bunch of money, start a business and make a bunch of money. But they have not done the legwork previously to prepare for that day. So they don't know the steps. They haven't prepared for those steps. I know myself, I have to have steps written out that day. So I know exactly where I'm going to move, what direction I'm going to do, going to go, what calls I have to make at certain times. What does your preparation look like? What does your daily preparation look like?
So what's amazing is, just real quick, one of the main things I took away from the Marine Corps and I pass along a lot of times is it's called 7 Ps. I learned this from a drill instructor at Paris Island, and it's proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
That's awesome.
And I pass that on. I live my life about just with that. Is you just always got to be ready. You got to have a plan, but at the same time, you can't let not having a plan hold you up. Everybody kind of can wait for wanting all the stars to align, but you still have to be able to go do it. So when you're talking about having those lists and stuff, you got to have that fundamental direction of where you're going to head every day, but you also got to be able to have the clarity and vision to say, hey, if I'm called to do this, like right here, or being on this podcast necessarily might not be part of my main objective here for the day, but here I am because this is where I needed to be. I have to be open and ready for that. And I have to allow the preparation that I've done in the past that led me here, continue on with this and not be afraid to take that step. Because if you keep doing the same thing and you build off of those core principles, you can do stuff that's outside of those realms. Nothing's built overnight. It's a little snowball that just keeps building up and building up and building up, and you become more confident every time. And the bigger that snowball is, the bigger things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What do you attribute your personal success to? Is there anything in particular that you can look to and be like, yeah, that's one of the things that really, really kicked me into the stratosphere?
I'm a very disciplined person, and I have great willpower. In my mind, if I commit to something, it's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
I don't stop. It don't matter how hard it gets. I would rather get to the finish line than have to live with the fact that I didn't make it to the finish line.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Ron, what's the what's
that? More recently is that it doesn't have to be perfect. I dealt with that for a long time where I wanted everything perfect. And, I would let that be my excuse for inaction. It's not ready. Mm-hmm. But you just got to get it out there. And if you don't continue rolling, you can clean it up. You can fix it later. Mm-hmm. The main thing is you got to have the discipline to take the action and know where you're going.
Absolutely. Ready, fire, aim, guys. Ready, fire, aim. Even if you don't have the perfect plan, even if you have no idea what you're doing, just get on the field. If you don't know how to play the game, just get on the field. You'll learn as you go. You will mess up. You will make a lot of mistakes, but just keep going. Don't stop, and it's okay to make mistakes. That's not a big deal at all. If you want to get to where, people like Ron are at, you got to get on the field. You got to play. Ron, what's the future look like? What's the next step?
Like I said, we're going completely live here. We're through MVP. We're through all of that. The next step is just continuing doing what we're doing. Meeting with guys, meeting with contractors and home service providers, getting them onboarded onto the platform, getting homeowners and everybody familiar with it, continuing to just build that up. I mean, that's what's in the future for NuttNest. What's in the future for Ron Nussbaum is I'm a grinder. I'm going to work on this 100 hours a week. and that's going to leave me time to be out on the beach the rest of the time.
That's awesome. Guys, if you have a podcast or, you got a YouTube show as well, guys, you got to get Ron on. I think this is going to be the next big thing, man. And this is a big deal. And, it's a problem that I know I've dealt with many, many times. And Ron's figured out a solution. So guys, if you got a show, you got a podcast, more people need to know about this. I know I'm in a group called Arate, it's like a mastermind group. And there's a lot of contractors, builders, roofers. We're a group full of construction, real estate investors, those kinds of people that, if I didn't know what NuttNest was prior to meeting you. So, I think everybody should know so they can take advantage of that and jump on and get on before everybody else. So guys, if you're watching this, you got a podcast, get Ron on. If you're a contractor or a builder or anything like that, give Ron a call. Ron, anything else you want to say before we ask the final question, the big one?
No, I am just glad to be here. I'm glad you had me on, and it's been an awesome experience. I love the communication and just the dialogue here. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, dude, Ron, this is a really awesome story. Where can people find you?
You can find me LinkedIn, Ron Nussbaum, Facebook, Instagram. My email is ron@nuttnest.com. Nuttnest.com is out there as well. So feel free to look me up, connect with me. I love building my network, creating relationships with people, communicating with people. I used to not be the best communicator, and here I am solving the biggest communication problem there is, and that's in the construction industry.
Absolutely. See, another problem you had, another problem you found a solution for.
Well, you just learn. You just got to continue to self-develop, man. Reading books, audio books. It's a way of life. If you're not continuously training to be able to put your foot out on the playing field, there's a problem.
Absolutely. Ron, here's the big question. Here's the big question I ask at the end of every single podcast. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
All right. This is you need years of like a master's level college degree. You need a lot of intelligence to answer this question. If you could buy land anywhere in the entire world, where would it be and why?
I would buy it right here where I'm buying a house. Because we've done the research and decided exactly where we wanted to be at. And there is some primo land on the beach. I look at it all the time because that's the next level is, we live a couple blocks from the ocean. The plan is to get on the ocean. Man. And, everything you look at, you have to end up redoing at the end of the day. So we're looking at, wanting to buy a piece of property right on the ocean and then build our dream house there, right here where we're at. So that, you got to get within proximity to what the dream is. And, I guess I would say to your guests, like, if you're not living where you would buy the land, you need to reevaluate the situation and get at least close to it. So then you can feel it.
There it is, right there. That's the big bomb that you just dropped there.
Yeah, you have that connection to what the dream is.
That's huge. If you're not living in the area that you want to buy land, that's their first step. You need to live there first. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, you better get close.
You only live once, man.
Absolutely.
Ron, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, thank you for having me. It's been fantastic. I look forward to doing it again.
Heck yeah, we'll do a follow-up.
Talk about.
We'll do a follow-up, man. We got a follow-up for this too. I definitely want to see. I want to see when you have the beachfront property and you're flying in on your jet and you're.
We'll do it in person.
Yeah. Hey, you send your jet out to me.
Yeah. You send your North Carolina.
What's that?
Fly you out.
Yeah.
We'll do it overlooking the beach.
Oh,
it'll be amazing.
You're killing me. I'm going to tell my wife about that. She's got to come too. Ron, thank you so much, guys. Till next time on LandLife.